Today, we're talking about remote work. Yeah, I know. Everybody does it these days. So, specifically, I noticed that Matthew's got a new setup at his home. So, we're going to talk about the home office setups that we're using, right? What makes it work for us, why we pick certain things. We're going to get a little tour. This will be a very good one for YouTube. We'll have to push people here to YouTube, and all you podcast folks can listen along, but you need to jump over to YouTube to see all the things. So we'll talk about that today here on Drink While You Think, which is of course, your weekly happy hour conversation amongst a couple.
Maybe bi-weekly for a while.
Matthew's had a little bit much of me lately. He's tired of me. But yeah, where the two of us talk about all the weird things we're doing inside of our firms. And this weird thing, honestly, is something we've been doing for a long time, well before pandemic. So we can talk about that. Before we get there, though, Matthew, what are you drinking today? And do we have any sponsors?
Oh, first of all, today's episode of Drink While You Think is sponsored by FreshBooks. FreshBooks, check out their new accounting channel partner programs and everything you do. FreshBooks, the second largest GL in North America, is here to serve you and your clients. How about that? That's pretty good. Okay. Our friend Twyla was in the keynote at Acuity Con. Thank you again, Twyla, for that. But she not only keynoted, she left us beer. So I got this is the Left Nut Brewing Company. I even left you two of the beers in the office, Kenji, so you can do that. But New England style IPA here. It's the Hooch, Shootin L&B. So I'm pretty from L&B. So I'm pretty. I don't know if have you ever tried this one?
Anything from Left Nut Brewing? No, I have not. I remember that name.
Gainesville, Georgia, dude.
Okay, I have not.
She got us another one from Atlanta Brewing too. So
okay,
you'll like it. It's another IPA. So.
I like all of them. I've got one here too that not a sponsor, but I'll give them a shout out. The Tucker Rye Pilsner. That's funky. A rye Pilsner. And I was over at Tucker Brewery. I'm meaning to take you over there. I was over there this past weekend before I went out to Augusta next with my wife, my brother-in-law, out doing a little bit of, they do a cool Tucktoberfest off Oktoberfest. Cool. I even have a Tucker Brewing glass because I got it from my friend, Ashley Hubbard. She is the owner over there at Tucker Brewing, and they have the number 4th ranked beer garden in the United States. Go check it out if you're in Atlanta. Tucker Brewing. I love Tucker Brewing. Look at that, kind of a darker Pilsner, a rye. That's funky. I'm excited. So cool. Cheers to you. Cheers to Twyla. Cheers to Ashley too, since she hooked us up.
Cool. Definitely an IPA over here.
I like it.
Okay.
Okay. Also, I'm going to say this too about this episode. I know I'm tired from being on the road like the last few weeks. I won't say we're uninspired, but we're a little like, all right, what are we going to talk about? And I did notice, I'm like, we could talk about all kinds of things. I feel like we've talked a lot about events. I don't want to talk anymore about like right now about conferences and all the things. You get some new setup there, but I was like, oh, you got a new setup at your house. It's kind of funny,
I started nesting. So I don't know if you knew,
like one of your chickens.
It kind of started with the basement was kind of bugging me. I'm wanting to do a little bit more of a finished basement look. I've been kind of toying with that. So it started with kind of finishing some of the floors with some of the epoxy paint. I'm in the basement, so it's nice and cool. But then you have to do all these meetings, trying to get some branding in the corner with the Acuity stuff. I love
I like it.
The jerseys. But one of the I guess this current standing desk configuration I was doing is I was noticing on the video calls, I was doing them seated. And in my seated setup, I've got the 3 screens. So I'm not paying attention to people a lot of times, and I'm getting comments about that and trying. So I'm trying to be
more than just from me.
Well, yeah. So, you're the one that gives me the comments. Nobody else does, but I know it happens with everybody else. So I'm trying. One of the things I did was created an intentional setup that's just for video conferencing. So I don't have. It does have a screen, but it's just a duplicate screen. So I just am looking at you, and I can deal with that without a Slack screen here and an email over here. So that's one of the things I did. I can show you that if you want.
Yeah,
So,
I like that the concept. Let me see what you're working with here. Show me a
uh,
little bit. While you're showing, you can tell us, and I'll
so the
look at
so the
me. Look
setup
at that
here you
handsome
are.
devil.
So here you are. So you got the stand-up desk, Kenji, where you just move my, laptop over and it plugs into a thing. Got a ring light and usually the camera's there. I got the blue snowball
Yeah.
right here if I can point it at the right thing set up. But my normal
Okay.
configuration, and then I definitely still look out the window. I think that's important in any setup. But my normal configuration is over here. This is my seated configuration. So I have
Oh,
the Slack screen there on the left, the other screen on the right, and then I have the main setup in the middle. Where I just put my laptop there, so it's a
yeah.
3 screen setup normally. So and then this is the rest of the place. So I've got the
Very
Lance
nice.
Armstrong jerseys, even though they're not in
Wait,
vogue.
hey, hold off on those. We'll go look at the accoutrements in a minute. Let me show you mine.
Okay.
We'll compare desks, and then we'll go look at stuff.
Right.
We'll go take a look at like the. So
I
we're gonna
get.
do
I
the
went
functional stuff first, just the
since
functional.
since we do plan so much. You can
Right,
understand
right.
how.
Well, yeah, we'll do functional here first.
Okay, we got function over form first. So
Okay.
that's the stand-up desk, and I do have the mat to stand on. So I know you're
I do
worried about
too.
my
I do too.
plantar fasciitis because I'm old. So
Yeah. Okay. All right. I like it. But I'll say before we switch over, and I'll just do a little rundown of mine. Is I like it's almost like you've taken people do things with their phone, right? Like, oh, I'm going to turn these notifications off. Or I'm going to do some of these intentionally to make sure it doesn't like distract me, right? And you've kind of done that in your office space. Like, oh, I'm going to create my little separate area over here. I mean, I'm the only one who's candid enough to give you a hard time about not paying attention. But I noticed you're engaged. You're looking at me. Yeah,
yep.
I like it. I like it. I like how you you take feedback very well, but partly because you and I love giving each other shit about things. So we'll just say whatever we're thinking. Um,
So
okay.
show me your setup then, dude. So I
Mine
know
doesn't change too much.
you haven't been able to sit down for months because of your bad back, but I mean, we don't talk about your bad back very much, but so
we
you've
don't.
been in a
I
stand-up desk.
talk about it a lot because if I start talking about it, I talk about it too much. But yeah, it's a good old herniated disc driving me crazy. Those friends of mine know, like I just love to bitch and moan about it because it makes me nuts. But this has been one thing that's helped. We had this desk in the office. I'll show you my setup. I've used the standing desk quite a bit. I like the standing desk quite a lot. It makes my back feel so much better. So, all right, here's my configuration. Looks, I can kind of look across the room and out. But if you look and see, like, yeah, they're just I'm just a side by side. I'll sometimes shut that big screen off there if I'm in the middle of something, I'm side by side. I do like though. Do you have like separate like keyboard and mouse?
I have a mouse at my sitting desk, but not at my standing desk.
Okay.
And I do not use a separate keyboard. I use my keyboard for my laptop as my keyboard all the
Okay.
time.
Okay.
I've thought about it, but I've never needed it.
I
So
like it from a posture standpoint of like just putting things like it's almost like a screen, but it's been good. But yeah, I've got the standing desk. It's a good one. I stole it from the office. It's this nice Jarvis standing desk. I mean, it'll go up and down. I don't really take it up and down very often. Try to keep my space fairly organized. Did a little cleaning this morning. I'd like to do some more management on the cables. They try to drive me crazy. I like having a nice clean workspace. And I've got a great chair that I don't ever use. That's one of the, Aeron chairs.
yeah, I've
Um,
got those.
but yeah, that's the mat right there. That standing mat's like key. The mat is key. See that? And so,
I've got the mat and the Hokas right now. So for my feet.
oh, you got both of them. All right. I like to go barefooted. Um, okay. So yeah, functionally, that's kind of what I like in here, at least for working. Like when I'm engaged working, then there's a bunch of other kind of random stuff. We'll go through. Well, I want to see the little things in your office. Like, all right, what are they doing in there? Why you have them in there?
Oh, you're gonna get me all sentimental? I have lots
Oh,
of
yeah.
sentimental stuff.
Well, but see, isn't that what an office is? Like it's a workspace to where you need to get things done, but also like, oh, you want to surround yourself with things that kind of
Well, no,
get you
no, yeah,
going. Yeah.
nobody comes down here except for me. So
Okay. Okay. Well, that means it's truly your own space. Mine is still a bit of a blended space, as we'll do mine next, and I'll show a few things there. Um, okay. Let's get a quick office tour. Let's see.
okay, do
What
you
you
want
got?
to just start? Let's do backgrounds first,
Okay.
because we think about backgrounds, right?
Oh, you do. Yeah, that's true.
I do. Well, the new move the biggest change is I moved the bookshelves that were over just to my right, to behind us. So that was mostly from a functional perspective. It was ruining the function that I needed out there. And this was just wasted space behind me. So those of you that don't know, my wife's a college professor. Now she's an associate dean, but she's in children's literacy is one of her specialties. And we have to have so many bookshelves in our house that it's just ungodly. So every wall that can have a bookshelf has a bookshelf, which is why the bookshelves. Kind of towards the top is I don't know if you can see the black and white pictures. So we did the wedding pictures from the different family members. And I get one spot over there on the right. I have kind of the stuff that I've kind of accumulated over the years, like keep as keepsakes. I have the 40 under 40 award that you and I got the same year.
That's right.
When we weren't working together. I have a plaque from being on the board of the Refugee Family Services and New American Pathways, which is combined for like 7 years. I got that plaque up there. I've got the tombstone from when we sold our startup in 2000 for the startup I did. I got the trophy I got for being the soccer coach. I was a soccer coach for 8 seasons. I kept one as my favorite soccer trophy. I have the debate coach of the year award up there. And then I have for my 40th birthday, you gave me a bottle of tequila, and actually that's up there with the post-it.
Oh, is it up there? Nice.
Well, the tequila is gone, but the box is.
Yeah, I hope so.
And then actually Laura bought me this when she was in college and we were engaged. She bought me a knife from Spain, from Toledo, like Toledo steel, and that's up there on the top shelf. And then we got the Acuity thing we got from the Zenefits tour.
Oh, that's where that came from.
So I cut off the Zenefits from the bottom. Don't tell them. And then the rest of the stuff in the background is kind of random. So I have my hat thing going. So the hat is kind of like, I have a college hat, then I have the College World Series hat. And then each of the years I went to the Masters, I have a hat. Yeah. I've got 2 that I have to put up, which is the Baylor National Championship and the last Masters trip. And I'm just going to keep hats from each of the cool sports events we go to. I didn't have one from the Super Bowl. I need to go. I wish I had done that. That was my one regret from the Super Bowl. Wish I had bought that. Then
it wasn't going to the Super Bowl. That wasn't a regret.
No, that was not a regret. I don't regret that at all.
I kid. For both of us, we're a little still.
So, and then I did the audits in my last life for Lance Armstrong's bike team. So the Radio Shack team signed that one, and over here I have another one. I can show you in just a second. And then the weirdest thing in my office is the Monopoly set, the village size Monopoly set. And
it doesn't look like a Monopoly set at all from here.
Yeah, it's like each of those things is the Christmas villages.
That's what it looks like. It was one of those Christmas things.
It's the Christmas village, but the Monopoly version. And so each of those is like the bank and like.
Why is that? Why do you like that? Why is it there?
Okay. So my mother-in-law believes that everybody has to have a collection. And she decided, since I didn't have one, that I should have a Monopoly collection. So I have like 6 different Monopoly sets from them over the years. And that also.
Do you really like Monopoly, or is that just what she chose for you?
That's what she chose for me. That is not something I really like or asked for or ever really expressed any interest in, to be quite honest. But the things you do as a son-in-law
that's correct.
There's worse things you could buy me. So I was like, I'll go with it. So
okay.
We have Monopoly sets that have never been played.
There you go. Mine will be easier.
So that's the background.
We'll do backgrounds, then we'll do other things we want to show.
Other stuff that you don't see.
You'll love this. You've been more intentional.
You got so much stuff to make fun of me in my foreground, because I got like a Keystone Y Granite book.
This is going to be crazy. Don't spoil it yet. I want to see it. Don't spoil it yet. I want to see it.
That's awful.
All right. Mine behind me is pretty basic. Now, partly, I do get people occasionally asking, like, "Oh, you play the piano?" I'm like, "No, this piano came with the house when we bought it." And it's just I had to shift into this room during kind of pandemic. I was in one of the guest bedrooms. It's just too dark. It was too, I don't know. I like it down here where it's more light and I can see out, and did a few things in here to kind of get it more office like. But yeah, that's a remnant of like, this was like the family room that we never used. No, I don't play the piano, much to my mother's chagrin, because she also used to be a piano teacher. She was also a regular teacher. But yeah, pictures. The thing I realized about this though is I wonder if people can even see the pictures of my family because they always see the dogs are on the outside. I put the family like closer in the middle because the dogs. But I realized I blocked the family members. But there's our current dog Ruthie, and there's me and Sam when we were on top of. I was on top. I was on top of our hike. We were up top of Mount Baldy right there for our 2-week hiking trip in New Mexico. I love that. That was a great trip that he and I had. And there's me and Stella. You know where this is from, Matthew, don't you?
No.
Oh, you always act like you're so knowledgeable. This is from Austin, Texas. It's a famous mural in Austin, Texas. And she
Okay.
and I were on a trip there. I do a one-on-one trip with the kids every year. And so I've had a lot of people go, "Oh, you were in Austin with your daughter," just by looking at that picture. They can see it from back there and they know. Same spot. I got tons with me and Rochelle, my wife, but like, I like this one. This is when we were in Jamaica
When you're
together.
like 12 years old.
No, I was in Jamaica a couple of years ago.
Okay.
It was just before COVID. But we'd won that. I won that trip, this amazing house in Jamaica. Remember I told you about this one where it was at an auction, charity auction. And I was a little bit of this, as they do at charity auctions, giving you drinks and you're exuberant. And you could bid online, and I accidentally hit the online. I was looking at it. I'm like, man, no one else has got this house. It ended up being a great trip with some friends on there. And then there's our first dog, Nellie. Oh, I missed this. This was the best dog ever. Nellie was the best. She was amazing.
I don't know. Ruthie's pretty good.
All right. And then otherwise, this stuff over here, like, see where here, like, this is left over from some other room. Oops, moving the microphone, not the camera. From some other room, you can kind of see it. Like, I don't know, that's weird. It's like some feather.
Not the books you're supposed to be reading over there on the left?
I'll tell you about those in a second. But like, I don't know. That's just some kind of decoration thing. I don't really know what's happening. See, yours is more intentional. I think Rochelle put that stuff in here to kind of dress it up a bit. That's a little local artist we like up here in Atlanta behind me. But then the books over here those are some of my favorite books. I will show that, like, it's up real quick. We don't go through all of them, but like these are some books I'm working on or I've read. My favorite really is probably here at the bottom is good old Jim Collins. I'm a Jim Collins nerd. Good to Great. That's like my favorite, one of my absolute favorite books. Here's his next one. The cool thing, what's cool about this one, Rochelle got him Great by Choice. Yeah. Jim Collins autograph, baby. Let's go. And then a lot of these in here too have been I'm really thankful for. That's kind of a cool one. George Takei. It's actually it's a graphic novel. I was on a podcast with Jeff Hillemeyer about this, but it's about Japanese internment camps, and I have family who related to that history, and so we talked about it on the podcast. But the rest of these are ones I think Twyla has given. I've read a couple of them already: Atomic Habits, Atlas of the Heart. I'm doing halfway through the Art of Gathering, and then the all-important one snuck in there too is some of my brewing recipes. I got to get those in there. So, when I'm brewing, I may brew again this weekend, Matthew, for you. We got to get a dark beer going.
That means a stouter porter's on the way, folks. So
I got to work on that maybe this weekend. So that's my background. Not as thoughtful as yours. A few things back there, but give me the weirdness now.
Oh, the weirdness? I don't know.
I want to see the other stuff in your.
These are the things that I don't let people see. All right. Well, this will be your favorite. Well, there's the Keystone Wygran.
Oh my God.
That's over there.
At least you're using it as a book stand.
That's my 10 key. I still have a 10 key.
Look at that. Do you use the paper on it?
I still have my diploma up and my CPA license, which I keep active. Let's see. I got to go this way. Oh, this is the most sentimental thing here. My grandfather, that's the plaque for his hole-in-one. He shot a hole-in-one on the day of my engagement party. And he has 2 hole-in-ones lifetime. And he's passed away. But I got to pick one thing, I guess. That was the one thing I asked from all their stuff. And that's what I have. And then my sports memorabilia, the other Lance jersey, that's just Lance signed that one from Discovery. Oh, my hometown basketball team is the UTEP Miners. So Don Haskins was the longtime coach, won in 1966. Until Baylor won the national championship, it was the only Texas team to win the national championship. And then next to that, I was a Lakers fan growing up. And then Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Cooper, James Worthy, Pat Riley, they all signed that basketball
legends
in that little glass thing. And then a bunch of other knickknacks. kind of like harem, but that corner is kind of like the sentimental corner. That little thing my daughter made me. It says, "No matter the size of my hands, you'll always, always be your little girl." And she also has, she saved some sand from one of the trips that we did in right before actually ZeroCon San Diego when we were in San Diego. So I have some San Diego in there.
That was the one I missed when Sam and I were on top of that mountain. When she was getting that sand, Sam and I were on that mountain there.
Yeah, we were fine without you.
I know. I figured we typically, even when we go to conferences together, we typically don't, hang out. All right, what do I got over here? I've got a few more things to say. I will say some things like, okay, so since you're having daughters, my daughter likes to draw things, so I've got some of her drawings she makes for me. And I don't know, this cool little dinosaur guy. She brings me all kinds of little funky things. I like these right here by my screen so I can look down at them. A few other things. Oh, notice this. Look at this crazy thing. The Ember.
Is that a mug warmer?
It's a mug warmer that's brand new. That came from these folks right here at Gusto. I got some of the Gusto swag I just brought back. That's brand new. Some of our Expensify stuff. Look at that Fresh book.
Got the Wake Forest. You got the Wake Forest jersey?
Well, that's coming over there next. Trust me. And I've always got headphones. I love having good headphones and that Sonos music. I love music. Music is huge to me, so I'm listening to it all the time. But yeah, one of the cooler ones in here is my sports memorabilia. The only one I've got in mind. Yes, that is my college alma mater. That is
Timmy
one and only Tim Duncan autographed college jersey that my wife got for me when we were in college. People ask me, like, how did you know she was going to be the one? I'm like, when that thing came through, that's how I knew. But yeah, that's Timmy Duncan was there in college when I was, and I think is probably the greatest power forward to have ever played. I just love who he was. He's just a killer, dominant. But the big fundamental, they called him. He was no flash whatsoever. But you hear Shaq and other guys talk about him like you couldn't get into his head at all. He just was just so fundamentally sound. Love that about him. And on this side, just a few more things. It's kind of just junk. Not said junk, but just stuff over there. We got randomly. Only picture, that picture right there. It's a little bit of a weird picture. My wife makes me keep it in here, but her dad made that back in college. It looks like some weird Led Zeppelin cover album art. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
It's like map topography from here.
It's kind of like a wood carving print block something. I'm not exactly sure what it is. And then over here, there's a quote I like, a guy named Naval Ravikant, who I think is just freaking brilliant. I read his stuff all the time. It's one of my favorite books. And then down below that, there's a little thing. That's my hippie side down there. That's actually built on OKRs. It's a thing called Speed and Scale. It's written by John Doerr. Great, but just about how we're going to fix our messed up environment by 2050. I think it's really cool. And then up here, all this stuff are things Matthew and I, some of this stuff we've taken back from our retreats that you and I have done. That top one up there is one about, that's just me personally. That's kind of what I value. That's my core values of independence and freedom and stuff. And then there's our 2020 key initiatives, our 5 things there. Down below, that's our Acuity Invest. You can probably recognize your handwriting, Matthew. I stole that from you once. It's all of our Acuity Invest clients. And then there's some more stuff around core values and mission and things like that. I like that stuff around to kind of
remind you.
Oh, and then, one other thing you can't see way in the back over there. Yes, that is a wine fridge, small wine fridge where I've got some of our better wine. And on top of it is a bottle of, I believe it's scotch that Matthew got me so just like the one he showed you that I gave him. That one's for my 50th wedding anniversary.
Birthday.
What am I talking for? It's birthday.
But you're not 50 yet.
I'm not 50, so I can't drink it yet.
So the backstory on that for people is Kenji was kind of bummed about this latest birthday. So I felt like I had to give, because like 50 is a big number. It's not like, you're like blurry now. Oh yeah, that's good. So Kenji was after his last birthday, he was a little down, down than I've ever.
My back was really bothering me, and I was like, "Geez, I've been feeling so young," and all of a sudden it was like, it just bugged me. I had a birthday, my back was bugging me, and I'm like, "What?" I was in a bad mood.
And you're 48 now, something like
49, dude.
You're 49. Okay, so you're 49. So you only have to wait a year. So you're 49, and he was like staring 50 in the face like a bad thing. So I decided to get him a 50th birthday present early, like something that he couldn't drink till he's 50. So he had something to look forward to. So I like to think
Also,
that I
I think
contributed to
I
your
think
delinquency.
you
So,
felt bad because I can't remember what happened. Like the morning of my birthday, like you don't get very into it. I don't
oh, we've
remember what the
done
deal
like
was.
that's the only time I've really like.
You were in my shit about, I don't even know what it was. You were in my shit about something. I didn't really, I was like, whatever. I knew it. I deserved it, whatever it was, whatever. But then I think afterwards, later in the day, someone else was like, oh, Kenji, happy birthday. And I think you were like, oh shit. That was not,
That's
me,
true.
me, I'd have been like, dude, I
So
gotta
I don't get
take
into
time off of
shit
a
too
birthday
much,
for that.
but like it's rare that we get in arguments. I felt like that was almost an argument. I don't know if it was an
Well, it's
argument. It
pretty
was kind
close.
of
I was
just,
just being, yeah. You were right about something. I was annoyed about it.
but I was a little aggressive about it, I will
You
say.
tend to be that way. And I was being a baby about it. And I was also just like annoyed. So, and again, my back was bothering me. I think I had some other issues percolating there that I was like, I don't need to hear it today. So I think you also felt a little bit bad since I decided to get me a nice gift too, because you felt bad.
I did feel bad. So,
That's the office tour. Anything else do you think you need for your office at this point?
um, that I need for my office, yeah, I think I need a second camera set up for when I do have to like show and tell.
Yeah.
So I don't take the but maybe I can just take the cameras back and forth. I can probably figure that out. Maybe a second camera set up for when I'm seated, but that was the only thing I've been thinking about right now. But I made a lot of changes recently, so I opened up a lot of space. I put a little couch in here so the dog can sit with me, that kind of stuff. So
I was gonna say
uh,
that's the one thing we didn't show there too. Like I've next to my thing over here, even though she's not in here, I do have my dog bed so that Ruthie can come over here and lay by me. I like it. I like it. That's the only thing I miss. I like it when the dog's in here. So
yeah. So I guess we should probably like get to like a podcast version of this. Like, what's it? So, I mean, what's the takeaways about your home office? What's it like? I mean, we've been doing this a long time. I was like, mine is like monitors are huge. Like, are people underinvest in monitors?
yeah,
Probably. Like, having a monitor set up and a video, like a camera set up that you want. That's like a huge deal. And I think windows are a big deal.
that's the reason I'm down here in this other one because yeah, my previous home office was in a bedroom and there was not enough light there and it was just dark. I didn't like it as cave like. I mean, for me, I think yeah, to your point, natural light. Um, the monitors are big. I didn't do multiple monitors for a while. Like I did
You
not.
were the big resistor for that.
You remember me, you know, I'm also a big minimalist too. Like I just don't, I like things kind of being kind of minimal. Like for a while, even I always worked on this little chair in either up in my bedroom or in my den. I was happy just working from a chair with only my laptop. That's it. And then I started adding more, but I still like things fairly simple. I like things well contained and kind of neat. But so I'll say monitor, yes. Natural light, standing for me is game changer. It's huge. Like it's
Yeah.
just my energy's better. It helps my back stuff. I just like that a lot more. And
I think
um,
just generally intentional spaces for that create habits. Like if you're having trouble focusing in one spot, having a different spot where you do your meeting calls. Like I think this is gonna be important in the new world environment. Like removing yourself from your normal desk to a different place. That's gonna be huge for me for being attentive in meeting and being present in
yeah.
meetings. And so hopefully that helps. I think we're gonna have to think more about that as everybody moves to remote. Kind of seems like permanently. So.
The one that we didn't talk about that I think that is kind of inherent in this too is what also happened is our audio visual game went up a ton, right? We're both
Oh yeah,
using these blue speakers. You know, I'm right now we're both using cameras, non-native
external
cameras,
cameras.
external
That's
cameras.
mhm.
Those are really big. And so upgrading and improving that, I think most people have done. And then, yeah, there's a few knickknacks and things. I should probably be a little more thoughtful about putting more sentimental things. I literally have only those pictures, like the Tim Duncan thing. And the rest of mine is fairly like about getting stuff done. I don't have that much here. I think my brother-in-law is going to take this piano, which will be great if he does. I'll get to rethink about what's kind of behind me a little bit. But um, yeah, yeah. Make it intentionally good for you. If you like all those warm, fuzzy feelings around you, man, get them around you. If you like, nope, something nice and clean and neat and non-distracting, you got to do it. But we're now here. What you and I go in the office, but total of maybe in
four
a
to six
regular week,
4 to 6 hours a week.
4 to 6 hours a week. That's all we're there for.
So,
So
it's kind of crazy.
I'm shoving more of my stuff I don't want there to the office. Honestly, I'm like, take this stuff here, take this stuff here. I've got a bunch more stuff to bring back from Gusto, but got a bunch of fresh book stuff there to bring in that I'd rather have there at the office for other people to grab if they want them. So, folks, feel free. Snap us a little picture of your space. Give us some ideas of what you got that we might need. I don't know. Maybe we need.
Yeah, I want to hear what everybody else needs.
Maybe we need a candle. Maybe you need something that smells nice. My wife does that in hers. I walk in, I'm like, oh, that smells good. But then I'm like, oh, that may be like a headache for me. I don't know. Or, what else? I guess I keep wine nearby me, and I never crack that stuff open. What else do you need to make your space good? What are people doing?
That's what we want to know.
Tell us.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Well, let's do some rating here.
Let's rate the beers. Fresh books, nice job.
I've got the TK Rye pulled up right now, so let me share it out.
Hooch.
Again, always take a look at Untappd. Really a good little app. I do enjoy it. Untappd is good. This is their Tucker Rye Pilsner. It's kind of nice if you want like a good, clean, crisp Pilsner, but it's got a little more of that spice flavor of the rye. Check it out. I'm going to go a 4.0. Nice 4.0. Thank you, Tucker. Thank you, Ashley and team. And then Matthew.
Hooch Shootin from LNB.
Hooch
Chattahoochee is the
Scootin.
Yeah, that's it. LNB. Yeah, that was it.
So wait, this says Liquid Nation Brewing. You said it was Left Nut Brewing.
It says Left Nut Brewing on here.
Interesting.
Look, can you see?
Yeah, it's the same beer.
It says Left Nut Brewing Company.
Okay, we'll go with this. What did you give the Hooch Shootin IPA?
I'll give him a 3.5.
Oh, 3.5. Okay, I like that. Okay, not bad, not bad. All right. Thanks everyone for joining. Subscribe, like, comment. We love the comments. Come on as a guest. It was great having Marissa on here last week. She was awesome.
Great to see Marissa.
Yeah, we love we get tired of talking to each other. If we do, we end up doing tours of our offices. Reach out, let us know if you want to be on, and guess what? You'll probably get to be on, and we'll have a more interesting show. So reach out to us, please. All right, Matthew.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, all.